Hi, my dear friends. Here we are one of the prominent figures from the industry. He is CEO of Forbes Brands, Mr. Nishil Puri. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Mr. Puri. Sir, we find it very hard to define a brand in scenarios. We go to a textbook, it gives some kind of a definition. Another textbook gives some kind of. So, what kind of assortment of words would you give in explanation in a brand?
It doesn't need an assortment or a essay to define what a brand is. If you put simply, brand is a promise. Depending upon which category we are talking about, the product segment, brand is the promise which you have made to the consumer and your product lives up to it. So, for any name to a product, which we may call as a brand name, if that product delivers on the promises that it has made to the consumer, we will call it as a brand. You can also take branding as a hierarchy in respect. You may call something as a label. When we don't want to give a respect to a product name, we call it a label. The moment it becomes more respectable, we call it a brand. Now, what is the transition from a label to a brand? It is the ability of that product to deliver on the promises it is done to the consumer. So, a Louis Vuitton is a brand, a Chanel is a brand, at the same time, Carrefour is a brand. The difference is that Chanel and Louis Vuitton are the luxury brands and Carrefour is a mass market brand. But if Carrefour is saying or a Walmart is saying everyday low prices, it is living up to its promise.
Okay. So that has defined our perception of brand to an extent. Okay, sir. We find it difficult while we do brand building. We see it in many cases today. Yes, so what are the difficulties in brand building for an existing brand as well as an upcoming brand?
See, for an existing brand, the challenges of the brand building goes as follows. You have to define your focus. Okay? Let's take up an industry, otherwise it will look too generic a discussion. You take up any particular industry, let it be of your choice.
The soft drink industry.
Okay, let's take up a soft drink industry. Now there is a brand called Coke and there is a brand called Pepsi. Pepsi actually entered into the market and actually focused into the youth, and it took the market share under the nose of Coca-Cola. Now what Coca-Cola must have felt in terms of brand building? He must have felt the following. Coke was called as the original thing, the real thing. Then this youngster came, Pepsi, and it says, I am for the youth. Coke must have started thinking, what do I do now? Should I change my real thing or should I become like a youth brand? But if I become a youth brand, then what will happen to my existing customers? So the dilemma that an existing brand faces is that when a competition comes, how should I react? And that's where the point of his focus comes. He says, no, doesn't matter, let him focus on the youth. I am not that. I am typically selling to a particular segment. So the first challenge that they will face is to remain focused, to remain true. You cannot change your brand definition and your brand promise midway.
So you have to deliver what you have been consistently delivering for the past.
That's part one. Part two is you have to evolve the brand. Okay, if you are a 20-year-old brand, it doesn't mean you have to die. Levi's felt this difficulty over the years. It was called as the father's brand in US. In US, Levi's has spent millions of dollars to make it look more younger. The brands like Diesel and the CK and the Tommys of the world, they came and usurped its market. So the other challenge that our existing brand will face is, how do I keep my brand contemporary? How do I evolve it?
Sir, another question that arises because during the seminar you talked about tweaking the brands according to the different geographic areas or other cultures. You gave classic example of Swarovski that you have to tweak the brand. So don't you think this kind of tweaking will mar the image or will produce a haze in actual brand identity that it has built up over the years?
See, a brand identity has to be defined in a particular area. Okay? If it is a global brand, it is global brand only when everybody in the globe understands that brand. The way I understand Jimmy Choo is not the way a Japanese will understand Jimmy Choo. It is not tweaking it is basically customization and adaptation. You don't have to change the brand promise. You don't have to touch the brand DNA. It will not happen that a Louis Vuitton is sold as a ultra luxury in Europe and it is sold as a mid luxury in India. That is disastrous, no doubt about it. You don't have to change the brand DNA. You have to simply adapt your communication and brand offerings. You cannot sell beef burgers in India. You can't sell aloo tikki in Europe. But the brand DNA is same, which is I'm loving it. So he has retained the essence of the brand.
The inner identity.
Yes, the identity and the essence of the brand has been retained. It's only the customization. When you drive a car and you find traffic, you don't just drive at 60, you will customize. And then when you have no traffic, then you drive at 80. So that's called customization in the brand.
So you were also talking about the cultural branding aspect. Can you just touch upon that aspect also?
To put all together, to simplify the terms, to put no adages and no heavy words on that, cultural branding at the end of it is sensitization by the companies to regard every individual market as nascent market, and they have to understand that while implementing their strategies for that market, they don't have any burden of any understanding of their earlier markets. So I should not carry my understanding of the European market to Asia, my understanding of the Asian market to Europe. So cultural branding at the end of it is that you remain focused to the market that you are working and aiming for, without having any backlog of your understanding of any other market. If I am a $1 billion brand in US, it's not necessary I will be successful in Sri Lanka. I have to adapt my strategies. So ability of the marketing or the marketer and the companies to adapt the strategies is cultural branding.
Thank you, sir. And at last, any messages to my friends out there?
All the message I can do is, if they have internalized the discussion. See, branding, as I said, is like an ocean. There is nobody who can claim to be a brand guru or a brand expert. It is because consumers keep evolving. Have this understanding whenever you go to the market and you go to the industry to work, that you are always learning. If you have that spirit, you will do benefit to yourself, you will do benefit to the company you are working for. All the best.
I had a small question,
Sure.
I like to ask you while traveling in the car. Assuming that a